listen, we don't take pleasure in anybody having a bad season, but
Yes,
we kind of do. Yeah. It's just fun to talk about. And again, this is most disappointing. So we're hoping that all these guys turn it around, but this is just what didn't live up to our preseason, pre-draft expectations. So I'll let you start it off and pick Isaiah Wilson number 1.
So I just want to say this Georgia teammate, as you said, Isaiah Wilson was basically arrested once or twice, one of the two, and didn't play a game all year. And I still have Isaiah Wilson at number 2. And that's because Andrew Thomas is number 1 for me. A guy who many viewed as the top tackle of the draft and was drafted as the top tackle in the draft. I felt like underwhelmed a lot for me, was not very good this season. I think he's going to have to develop a lot. And I think part of the reason why I'm so low on him after this season is because the other tackles drafted in the first round looked really good. I thought everybody else looked pretty good except for him. Out of those 4, we kind of viewed it as a 4-tackle draft and a huge drop-off. I thought the other 3 were pretty good, and he was not. So I got Andrew Thomas as number 1.
That's surprising, especially because last week you said that Isaiah Wilson was number 1, so you've changed your mind since then. But
I changed my mind.
Yes. No, I mean, he was number 4 on my board, and I do agree that, like, you're right. We saw these other offensive linemen have those top 4. The other 3 looked really good, some great. And Andrew Thomas had a really slow start, but I thought that he did kind of turn it around. He did get better. So, listen, Isaiah Wilson's going to be number 2 for me. I do agree that, like, it was a disappointing season, but I don't get how this is more disappointing than a first-round pick who is probably never going to play a snap in the NFL.
So here's my question. My thought was he shouldn't have been a first-round pick. My thing with Isaiah Wilson is I didn't think he was a first-round player material. I think a lot of people also agreed with that. Regardless, Tennessee did take him in the first round, so he was clearly number 2 for me because I don't think he's going to play in the league. This seems like a really bad situation, and I see him on his way out rather than finding a spot on the roster anytime soon.
Well, yeah, but why is Thomas ahead of Wilson then?
Because he was bad. That was still an awful offensive line. He was supposed to be the piece that fixed a lot of these issues with them. I didn't see him help at any means whatsoever. He looked completely lost at times to me at the offensive line, at the tackle spot. And, that Giants offensive line, they really needed to hit on a guy, I feel like, at that spot. And drafting I think it was number 4 last year, with all of those tackles, they picked the worst one. And that just seems like a really bad situation to use the number 4 pick and have a negative.
Yeah, no, and again, he was on my list too. He was number 4. I feel like it's a bit. I just think Isaiah Wilson was just an all-time collapse for someone who's supposed to at least be a starter.
Yeah, I mean the thing was, so what? The Titans lost 3 tackles this year, and he still didn't play. But I mean, I still am just amazed at how bad Thomas looked to me, and especially when there was the guys. How ecstatic would they be if they got worse in the first round?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I agree, but I think that I think you're being a bit harsh on Andrew Thomas. Like, he wasn't good, but I don't think that he was this, like, worst tackle in the league either. Like, it seems like you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he develops. I don't know. They might be in the position to draft another tackle here going forward because it didn't work out, though.
Yeah, so Pro Football Focus, and again, this is I think goes to your argument, is Pro Football Focus had Andrew Thomas as 59th out of 79 tackles. So he's basically barely a starting tackle right now, which isn't good. But I think that I think that he got better. So we'll have to wait and see. I still have faith in that he can turn it around. That's why I don't have him that high.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he can get better because it doesn't look good right now to me. But hopefully he can get a little better. So I have him at number 1, and I'm assuming you're taking Isaiah Wilson at 2.
Yeah, I have Isaiah Wilson at 2. We already talked about him. Number 3, who do you got?
Do you have your take, by the way, of Isaiah Wilson winning MVP after the draft?
I did not. I should have gotten that. That was good. That was well, it was funny because if I remember that again, this is wrapped up in 2 bad takes wrapped up into one of you saying that this is why Tennessee isn't going to be that good. And I think losing the tackle was losing Jack Conklin, which that is a fair concern. And I said, they got Isaiah Wilson. They'll be fine. And then
Yeah.
I turned it into a bit where saying that Isaiah Wilson was going to win MVP. Did not quite work out too well.
Yeah, so we both looked bad in that one. That's fair. We don't have to
Yeah,
bring that up.
right.
Number 3, another high draft pick that didn't work out so far. Jeff Okuda didn't look good. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because, you know, a lot of corners take a little bit longer to develop. That being said, he is another one. There's a few corners that look pretty good. I mentioned Snead. Henderson had some moments. AJ Terrell, I thought, really came on in the second half of the season for the Falcons. And Okuda looked not good at all. So I think he's definitely deserves a spot on this list. He looked like the most sure thing in the secondary going into the draft. And now he's the most unsure thing in the secondary after 1 year.
Yeah, no, he was another guy where I had him at number 6. Again, he is someone who did get better towards the end of the season. So I think that that's kind of my hope, is that there still is hope for him. Whereas I still think there's a couple people on this board that I'm like, I don't even know if I have hope that you can be better.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But I mean, it didn't look good. That's for sure.
No, it was definitely for number 3 overall pick. Definitely disappointing. Definitely deserves a spot on this list. Number 4, I'm going to go a different corner. This is a first-round pick, who I wasn't a huge fan of coming into the draft, but Jeff Gladney, he could barely get playing time on a bad defense. I mean, this was an abysmal rookie season, and this is someone who I might feel most confident about, other than Isaiah Wilson. Because obviously I don't feel confident in Isaiah Wilson, but I could very easily see Jeff Gladney being one of those guys who just never becomes anything and just is just a complete bust. I could easily see that happening.
Yeah, and that's another one where it's like there's a few guys taken around him too that look like they're going to be pretty good at corner. And yeah, I mean, I think he's in a tough situation. I don't know how he gets better.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's not a coaching issue, you know. Zimmer knows how to coach guys. This is just, I didn't really understand the pick at the time, and I certainly don't understand it now.
The problem is that this is a team that really needed a corner to work out too. Similar to how I feel about, similar to how I felt about Thomas. They really needed a corner to work out, and it just didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. That was if they got CJ Henderson instead, which again, Henderson went way before them, but like this is a completely different football team. Like it was that big of a whiff.
Yeah. No, it really was. I mean, even if they got a guy like AJ Terrell, now, is there an argument that maybe with the situation there that he wasn't going to look good no matter what? But he couldn't even get on the field a lot. Like you said, it's the biggest problem.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, number 5. This is your pick. Who do you got?
I'll go Austin Jackson here. Another tackle who I thought really struggled. He looks like he's going to get replaced on Miami because I didn't think he was very good this season. So Austin Jackson makes my list.
Yeah, he was on my list too. Got a little bit lower. I think the only reason why I don't have him that much higher is just because, like, I didn't expect him to. I don't think too many people expected him to be that great. So he was kind of expected to be like him and Isaiah Wilson had like sort of similar expectations, I guess. But like at least Austin Jackson like became a player, whereas Isaiah Wilson never even played a snap. Where it's like, the expectation to fall wasn't great, but still, first round pick turning into what looks like a bust. Definitely worth a spot on this list.
Or as Bailey X said, who the F is Austin Jackson? So
yes, well said.
It fits the build there.
He's a former Detroit Tiger.
Exactly. So, All right, who do you got next?
All right, number 6. I'm going with a second round pick, but this is no ordinary second round pick. I'm going Ross Blacklock, who, why? Because he was part of the pick, or he was part of the trade for DeAndre Hopkins. He was the draft second round pick they got from Hopkins. And he barely got playing time and was awful when he did. They managed to trade DeAndre Hopkins for a second round pick and then draft someone who they would have felt bad about if they spent a 7th round pick on.
Just the whole comedy of errors here. So not only did they trade DeAndre Hopkins for Ross Blacklock and David Johnson, but they also let DJ Reader walk because they felt confident in Ross Blacklock.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it put together. I mean, the Texans, this was just a funny Texans year, wasn't it? I mean, not funny for
For
Texans
us,
fans,
for
but funny
us.
for us.
Yes.
Like, holy
Fantastic.
crap. All of that put together that they let guys, Reader and Hopkins were replaced by David Johnson and Ross Blacklock. I
Yeah.
can't get over it.
And again, I guess the pick itself, you could argue about does this belong here? But I feel like he's the last like notable rookie that I would say like, yeah, that's not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. It really seems like that's a lost cause, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, who knows? Again, it was such a bad situation in Houston. Hopefully, he can get better. I don't know. Number 7, who do you got?
First round wide receiver who looks like the second best rookie wide receiver on his team, Jalen Rieger. Rieger did not look very good. We talked about Justin Jefferson being taken after him. And he looks like the worst wide receiver in the class, for the first round at least. First round wide receiver in the class. It was a situation where they wanted Travis Fulgham to play more, and Rieger was kind of getting in the way with that when he came back from injury. And yeah, I think he's going to be in a situation where it's going to be tough to find what his role is going forward.
Yeah, and he wasn't like awful, but he just wasn't very good, and he was kind of a sort of a mediocre receiver, sort of maybe not even a good number 2 guy, maybe like a below average number 2 guy. So again, there's hope, and I do feel like he's someone who could maybe get better. There's always the hope that you can take the second year jump, maybe with better coaching that could help, and also with the it definitely hurts him though that Justin Jefferson went after him. Like that, the next wide receiver was Jefferson. That really makes it look a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely leaves a sour taste in your mouth seeing that. So, yeah, I mean, he makes my list because of that. Hopefully he can get a little better too. He's another guy that I think is going to get – he may be able to find a role in the league. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like someone who's going to be out of the league in like a year, but and not has not really worth a first round pick as of right now. Number 8, I'm going to go Patrick Queen, just because, like, again, he's another guy who I've seen enough that I'm willing to say, like, he's shown flashes. I think that he could be good, but I was expecting him to be like this star player right away for Baltimore, which I kind of really could have used, and it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because he was on my list too, and like I don't get it. Like he was a guy that was like he got Rookie of the Year votes, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 2 Defensive Rookie of the Year votes.
Like, I don't even know if he could cover me out of the backfield, and he got Rookie of the Year votes. I don't understand it. I didn't understand what people were looking at when they saw him play. He looks like, I mean, I think he's going to be fine going forward, but he just looks like either A, he's got a long way to go to develop, or B, he looks like a linebacker that's like 20 years too late to the kind of game he needs. Because I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he's a good size middle linebacker, but he just seems like an archaic kind of guy who can't cover. If you can't cover in this league anymore, what are you going to be able to do?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, though, could they maybe do something like, again, it's this cover 1 system that they kind of ran a lot less than I think they thought they would, where I think they figured they could just have him be a guy who, either stays in the middle of the field and looks for someone to hit, or is rushing the passer or stopping to run. And then he all of a sudden has to play this coverage in a cover 3. That's just not really, I think, what they expected him to have to do too much.
Yeah, I just feel like if you can't cover in this league, no matter, even linebackers, I feel like have to be able to cover. I feel like we're seeing it, as a Patriots fan, I've seen it firsthand with Juwan Bentley. If you're unable to just even, find the running back out of the backfield, you're not going to make it in this league, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you can look at Devin White, too. Devin White really struggled his first season and a lot of the second season, but really turned it around towards the end in the playoffs. So it is possible, which, again, that's kind of why he's here at number 8, but I do agree. He belonged, wait, I picked that pick, so of course I agree. Number 9, who do you got?
All right, so there's a few guys here. I'll go with, I suck with this guy's name, K'Lavon Chaisson. I think I said it right. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he looked like a guy who's not going to make it in the league. He was kind of viewed as a project in the draft, but he doesn't even look like – I don't even know what he's projecting to anymore. He looks like he's just going to be cut here pretty soon. He didn't inspire me whatsoever, so he makes my list.
Yeah, I have in my notes, I wrote he was a project when he was drafted and looked like it. He definitely did not look NFL ready. I also love this comment. Eagles are birds, that's for sure. So there you go. K'Lavon Chaisson. That's how you say it.
K'Lavon Chaisson. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, but yeah, I mean, he's exactly it. He was kind of the unique Ngakoue replacement, and it didn't work out that way. On top of this, Josh Allen didn't look that great. He had a sophomore slump. So this is a much like you might have next season when we podcast. This is a very, very, it's a bit of a concerning pick. But again, you knew that he might have been a project. And my real issue with Chason is just that he didn't have the flashes that I want to see. Patrick Queen had flashes. Patrick Queen had moments. Chason didn't.
Yeah, and I do feel like that edge rusher kind of position, that defensive end position, is like kind of position as a rookie. You can kind of make some flash plays, and we didn't even see those out of him. So I mean, we'll see what happens going forward, but I think he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it's actually really difficult to look like a bust as a edge rusher because I always feel like that's the best position in football because people only notice you when you do something good. If you suck, no one's paying attention.
Yeah, because I mean, the one thing you do bad is basically, shoot the wrong gap and the running back goes for like 10 yards, but nobody's paying attention to that. They see the running back just running. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah. So I do think that, yeah, it's an easy position to kind of translate into the next level, and he didn't look like he's the part of it.
Yeah. So again, there still is hope though. And number 10, another guy who I say still has hope. Miami, Tua Tagovailoa. There's just Tua. No, we want to say his last name.
Tagovailoa, yes.
Tagovailoa. Yeah. I mean, Tua belongs on this list. He was a very hyped up quarterback. We have two other quarterbacks, one that went before him, one after him, that by far and away outperformed him. There is talk about should Miami move on. Now, I'm not saying he's a bust. I still think that there is a very good chance that he could still be very good, but I think he belongs here at this number 10 spot. There is enough disappointment. I was really hoping that I'd see a better Tua play, and we saw some really bad games. The Buffalo game, the LA game. We saw good games too, the Arizona game, but there's a good amount wrong, and we're going to have to see more in year 2.
Yeah, I ended up not putting him on my list just because I felt like there was enough seen in a couple of the games that I'm like, I think there's a quarterback here. And I think, even if he ends up being traded for one of these guys, I think you have to feel optimistic enough off of those games to think that he's going to be good enough. That being said, right now being drafted before Justin Herbert looks rough. I think part of it is his hip injury. It looks like it might take a little longer than expected. He didn't look 100% to me a lot of the season. He looked like he was dealing with some nagging stuff with that. And I think he's going to be better. I think he will figure it out. But yeah, that's the sort of thing where I understand because the lows look so low and Herbert looks so good. But I thought there was enough to keep him off of my list.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I think I thought there was enough to put him on here. And I think that part of it too is I had really high expectations for him and he didn't meet them.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, another guy I had on my list was Jerry Jeudy. And, he also had some moments too, but he also had some lows, which concerned me. So I think he is going to be fine, but I think they're kind of in the same mold of, you expected more out of them first year.
Yeah. Some other guys, I had 3 other honorable mentions. I think Damon Arnett was also on my list, I believe. Maybe, yeah. I forgot about Rieger, so I didn't put him on my list, but he should have been on there. Damon Arnett, who I feel like I still feel he could be better with proper coaching. It's a mess there with the Raiders defense, but again, he's someone who I thought that fit would be really good. Turned out to not be a great fit. Noah okay, I got this. Igbinoghene. Nailed it. He didn't have a great season, but he only played 286 snaps in, rookie cornerback. That's a hard position. So I'm not willing to call him a bust just yet, but deserves an honorable mention. And I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire just because, not really because of him, but just because of like the Chiefs didn't use him that much. Everyone thought he was going to be this fantasy monster and was kind of just, standing on the bench most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I could understand that one. My honorable, or I still had, like I said, I had Jeudy on my list. My honorable mention involved Isaiah Simmons, who I thought Isaiah Wilson was on my list already. Isaiah Simmons, I thought there were some moments, and I think he is once he figures out his role, I think he's going to be fine. But there was moments where it looked like he was just running around. So I think he's going to need a little more instruction going forward. And then I had Henry Ruggs and Devin Asiasi. I think the frustration with Devin Asiasi is more just me as a fan that he couldn't even find the field and, was supposed to be this pass catching tight end for us. And even though he was a third round pick, he underwhelmed a lot. So I had both of those guys on my honorable mention.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little surprised about the, I guess I get Henry Ruggs. The injuries are a big bit of it too. But I think Justin Jefferson also kind of just ruined rookie wide receivers for everyone else because, he was just so good as a rookie.
Yeah, he was. I think part of it too is I thought Lamb was just better. I thought he was at the draft anyways, but Lamb I thought still did pretty good this season. Even though he wasn't Justin Jefferson, I thought he was good.
Yeah, no, Lamb was great too. Again, I had him as a top 10. Yeah, so that's fair. And even Jerry Jeudy, I thought again, Jeudy can't catch the ball for whatever reason. I didn't realize that he doesn't know how to catch. But I don't know if it's the NFL style gloves that are more difficult. But he did a great. He was much better at creating separation, which we expected. So that's fair. But yeah, as a whole, I feel like only a handful of these guys I'm willing to write off as bust just yet, man. Hopefully, Isaiah Simmons. I thought that. He was so bad when he started, but he really turned it around. And I think it was that interception in overtime against Russell Wilson. I feel like that was like the turning point for his rookie season. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of his career will go.
Yeah, I think he will be interesting. I think, like I said, I think a lot of these guys are eventually going to figure it out. The ones I have question about to me are Okudah and then, Austin Jackson, Chase on some of those guys late first round. I don't have any more questions about Ross Blacklock. Because it's the Texans, I know it's not going to work out.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I see someone saying Cole Kmet. I just think that I'm never going to give a tight end a disappointing rookie season, just given rookie tight ends and how it takes them a year to get into NFL-ready position.
Not to mention, he was going against like 18 different tight ends at that team, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was 18.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to break into that kind of group.
Yeah. All right. So that's a show. Enjoyed this one. This was a fun one. I like doing the drafts, the rookie stuff. I'm not sure what we'll do next week, but we'll have something. We will be back next week, 9:00 Eastern. Thanks to everyone for watching. Kyle, before we go, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. That's at Jackson Kruger. Follow me at by Kyle Grondin, or follow our show page at On the Sideline JK on Twitter at On the Sideline JK. We'll post show updates, and I go on there for the random tweet every now and then. So I'll keep it fun. Make sure to follow us there, and tune into the show every Sunday 9:00.
And I forgot to mention this at the beginning too. I'll put this in a comment. We also have a clips channel now for like the clips of this show. So if you don't want to sit through the entire show, but you just want to watch a certain part, the link is in the description for that. Make sure you subscribe there. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can actually monetize that channel. So everyone, if you want to do us a big favor, that's probably the best way you can help us out right now. Subscribe to the JKS Clips channel, which you can get the link in the description below. And yeah, Kyle, any final thoughts?
No, it's ready for football season already. We had a couple weeks off. I feel like I'm done now.
Yeah, well, we really need like the XFL or something like that. That's such a good idea, and just can never seem to work.
Did you see this? I don't want to take up too much time. Did you see this 7-on-7 league that Johnny Manziel's in?
Kind of. I almost watched some of that on my Twitch stream, but it never got there. 'Cause I don't know what is it, like fan controlled football.
Yeah, so it's basically like fans call the plays, and then the team runs them, I guess. So
is it like, can you call any? I feel like this could be very like, so it's Twitch runs Pokemon or whatever it was. That's kind of this very similar to that.
Yeah, I guess so. So it's pretty wild though. So like, could you imagine? Like, I don't know, but I mean, they should hire us to fix the XFL. We can get this back and going so we can have football in the spring. What do you think?
I think I'd be bad at that. I don't think I have the capabilities.
What are you talking about? We could definitely fix the XFL. We can make it a money-making machine.
Okay, sure. I mean, if you're, I'll take the paycheck.
Yes. Hire us, The Rock, Mr. Rock. Hire us at On the Sideline JK.
Are you talking to him? You're looking up. It's
Yes.
just like he's in the room.
Yeah. I know he tunes into this. So, Mr.
Okay.
Rock, hire us at On the Sideline JK, XFL Commissioners 2020.
Okay. Well, all right. Perfect way to end the show. Thanks to everyone again. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to JKS Clips. And of course, as always, have a good one.
Peace.